This is another example of a song that doesn't begin strong enough, and it also doesn't end strong enough. So I'm going to make some edits to it and show you some techniques where you can add some energy to the end of a song, give it more of a stinger so that your radio spot doesn't fall flat. So here's how it begins. And to me, this is too long of an intro for a radio spot. But this looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to click right in front of the transient. Hit S to split it. Get rid of that. Zoom back down. Bring there, and now that starts all right. And here's the ending. But to my ears, that doesn't sound as big as this. So I want to do some things to this to give it more energy. And this little stinger here sort of gets softer. And I think for a radio spot, that still just doesn't give it the energy that we need. So I'm going to click right here and choose split. And I'm going to click right here and choose split. And let's see what we can do to add some energy to this. And then you guys can use the transient matching technique that I taught you to match this with this. Now I'm teaching you this just because these are the kind of tricks that you need when you're working on real world stuff. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to my ears, it needs to sound bigger, and one way to make things bigger is with more reverberation. So I'm going to add a reverberator to this. There's my reverb. I'll add it, and I'll add my reverb generator. And this allows me to control the wet and dry signal. Let me set up a loop over this and also enable my loop here so I can hear how this sounds as I edit. That sounds bigger. This sounds bigger than that. So that worked. I'll stop it. And then I'm also going to see if I can add a little bit of EQ to emphasize maybe the kick drum or maybe the bass or something to make it sound fuller. So I'm going to type in RIA so I can get my RIA EQ. Add that. And we're going to put the EQ after the reverb. If we put it before the reverb, it could make it sound sloppy. So I'm going to set this to a band filter like we always do. I'm going to make a narrow bandwidth. And I'm able to find the kick sound really easily. Here it is without the EQ, and here it is with the EQ. It's almost like I added another instrument to it. It's causing a little bit of overload. Now let's just see if there's any bass instruments there. So let me put on 2 and narrow my bandwidth. my ears, that adds a nice amount of fullness to it. Let me widen it a little bit. And the whole point, I'm trying to make that louder. So now let me see if I can put a limiter in there. And the release time needs to be longer, so I don't hear it pumping up. The release time a little longer. I'm not really trying to compress anything. I'm just trying to keep it from overloading things. So that worked. And then let me show you a trick we can do with this part. And we're going to listen to this part too, because that's not very big either. So I'm going to add some reverb to it as well. And I'll add the same reverb generator. And that certainly brightens it up. But it still didn't fix the bigness of it. So I'm going to add a pitch shifter. And two common ways you can shift pitch is by moving things up a fifth, which is 7 semitones. The fifth is one of the partials in the harmonic series. I'm going to also set my format up. Now, if I don't put the dry in, it will sound strange. That gave me new notes. Okay. But I don't think it sounds like it's ended enough. So I'm going to try pitch shifting it up an octave. And to me, that sounds a little bit closer to what an end sounds like. And now let's add some EQ to it. And I got this guy. Let me set up my loop. A little bit less with the high pitch, so it doesn't sound too artificial. There's just a little bit artificial sounding if we have too much wet. And then I'm also going to sparkle it up. This treble shoving filter. All right. So it's very different than the original. Let me bring this down and bring a fade out. All right. Now, what you will do, if this is something you want to do, is you'll have to find a place where this phrase begins. And to my ears, this spot right here, we've heard before. So I'm going to split that. And then I need to find out where a good place is that could come back. So now I need to find some place around here, because this is about 10 seconds, 8 seconds long. I need to find some place around here. Okay, that's the beginning of a phrase. So let's get rid of that. And let's see how this works. And that's not bad. Got a little bit of a gap here. Maybe I just need to add, well, again, here's the trick. You drag this down, you drag this out so that you can match your pulses. Just see, and that looks pretty good. My trouble is this is a little bit too long. If I cut this off before 30 seconds, not natural sounding. So I need to take these and move them ahead. Let's get in here and match my transients and see if this sounds natural. Now remember, your narrator, the guy giving the pitch, is going to be speaking over this, so we can probably cover that. But still, that's a little bit short to be natural. So let's find another a beat that we can stop it on. There's a beat. Let's see how that looks. Almost. I'm holding down the shift key as I grab these transients. It's in the same beat anyway. Oops. 28, 29, 30. Let's see if this sounds like a natural ending. That's not too bad. So let's just see how it sounds when we have it shift here. That worked out, right? If you're listening carefully, you can tell that the melody was changed, but I think somebody will still be talking by that time. So let's drag this up here, turn on my snap to grid, drag it up. That creates the crossfade for us. And now everything is good. And let's double check our effects here. There's nothing wrong with that edit. this guy sounds a little bit too loud. The last one sounds a little bit too loud, and I think it's because I forgot to put a limiter on it. So I give the take effects there, and I'm going to add limiter. And I'll try let's try that one. I don't want to boost it output brick wall, so I'm just going to lower that down. Let me lower it down a little more. That worked. So that's some ways that you can make a ending a little bit more powerful if you want to, by adding reverberation here, and by pitch shifting by either a fifth, which is 7 semitones, or an octave.